Hi, it's Greg Osmond, President of Red Maple Development in Newfoundland and Labrador. Today we're going to do a short video on how to shorten your faux blinds. I hope you enjoy the video. So the first thing that we need to do is extend the blind to as far as it will go. This allows you to see that you have about 6 or 7 extra lats which are going to be removed. So the first thing we will do is make sure that we don't remove the one that's just below the surface of your ledge. So from that point down, we'll start pulling them out. Now these come out very easily. They're just sitting on strings, and so you just lift them so that they are off the strings, and you can slide them right out and lay them down to the side. Once we have removed the lats, then we'll see that the strings are all attached here, which kept all the lats in place, and all of those strings are going to have to be trimmed. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take our small scissors and we will begin to trim each one very close to the main string, but do not cut the main string. So the little supporting strings right in here that held up the lats, they are the ones that need to be cut off. So we're just going to trim each of them up to the bottom of the lat that we've left in place. Once we've trimmed all those for each of the supporting main strings, we'll have that cleaned up. Remember, when you're trimming these small supporting strings, you can go close to the main string, but do not cut the main string. All of these need to come out because when we pull the blind up tight and we get rid of all of the excess string in the main string, we don't want these visible and hanging out at the end, at the bottom of your blind. That would not look good. Now you'll notice in this particular blind there are 4 main supporting strings going from the top of the blind right to the bottom, and alternating from one to the other. Each of these has a separate or an extra string, and this extra string is the one that controls the blind, and there's a little loop that, as you can see, there's a little loop tying this controlling string to the supporting string. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim that little loop so that this comes apart. Again, we do not cut the strings, the main string, but the little loops that are actually tying them together, we will cut. And over on the second one, that little loop is at the back, and so we trim those little loops and separate those 2 strings. Now once we've trimmed all of our supporting strings and we've trimmed the little loops that tie together the controlling string with the lifting string, then we have to pull the plugs at the base of the blind. So each of these strings are kept in place by this little plastic plug. Carefully take your knife and insert it around the plug so that you can just lift it, and then this plug will fall out. Don't throw it away. We're going to need it to put back. Now all of these strings that are here are still attached, so you don't need to worry that it's going to fall apart. Just go along and take out each of the 4 plugs, or however many are in the blind that you have, and allow the base of the blind to fall to its full extent. So now that we've extended the blind right to the bottom, you'll see that there's still one more string that support the lattices, and we want to trim that as well. So now we've trimmed all of the strings and we've trimmed the loops. Now we can rise the blind, and you'll see the base of the blind will come up to the bottom of the lats, and the string will remain dangling down at the base of the blind. Now what I like to do is make sure when you're cutting these strings is leave enough that we can actually tie easily. because we have to tie a little knot at the bottom of these main strings before we poke them back into that little hole. Now I'm going to turn over the blind and let you see the base again. And as you can see, the holes are here, and we want to fill them holes with the excess string, or at least we want to put the strings back into the holes and plug it. And the first thing I like to do is just to tie a little granny knot right in the middle of the blind, and we'll poke that knot into the hole right there. Then we take our plug. On the plug you can see there is little grooves on either end, and they are intended to be slots where you can put the string, let the string ride on the outside of it. So that gets jammed into the hole, and you just squeeze it in with your thumb, getting the string in the right place. And here's where we use our hammer. Now you just want to take your hammer and gently put it in your hand and tap that plug so that it goes in. Once you've done that, it's a simple matter of taking your scissors and cutting off the excess string outside the plug. So now that we're finished removing the excess latch, you can see that the blind sits at the top of your window ledge, and there's no pile of lats creating this sort of unnecessary congestion at the bottom of your blind. When you want to rise your blind, then they're much lighter, so there's less risk of you breaking any of your main lines. And when you let it break down, it sits very neatly at the base of your window. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. I hope it's been helpful. We'd love to have you check us out on Facebook or Twitter, or you can find us on the web at redmapledevelopment.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. Thanks for watching.